We have been fed a steady diet of sameness over the past 8 or 9 months or so in the Steamboat real estate market, and we're finally getting something new and interesting happening in the market. Hi, this is John James with the James team at Remax Partners, and I'm coming to you with another Steamboat market update. We're into the numbers for August 2021, and we're going to cover the entire Routt County area, the entire Steamboat market, to kind of see what's been happening. And as I said, things are a little different. Things are a little bit more interesting on this front that we have not seen in some time. And let me preface this by saying all of the numbers that I do, almost everything I do, is based on year versus year comparisons. So what happened in August 2021 compared to what happened in August 2020. Don't really have touched too much on month over month changes because that tends to be a little bit more seasonal. And lately, we haven't really seen many changes except everything going up. Sales price, number of sales, and demand continuing to go up. But now we're starting to see some interesting stuff in the month to month. So I'm going to add that in as it's important. So let's start with our numbers and see where these numbers kind of become very important and how interesting this starts to become. So let's start off with median sold price. That is up 22% over last year's $512,000. So we're now up to $623,000 as our median for homes sold here in Routt County. That's 22% is a big jump from what we've seen in years past, where it's usually creeping up in single digit increments. So that's pretty big. But the number of sales is up quite a bit too. 929 was our last year's number for August of 2020. It's now up to 1351 total number of sales, and that is up 42%. So big number right there, but this is the second straight month where we've seen the number of closed listings less than the month before. And so that's kind of a big deal. That's going to tell us something, and I'll get to it as to maybe why that's happening in just a little bit. Let's also look into the sales volume. We have now $1,258,797,137 of total sales volume for the month of August. In every segment, every category, it's up 86% over the just a little over 678 million we saw in August 2020. However, this is the first drop month over month we've seen in over a year. So, August, the sales volume was actually a little bit lower in August than it was in July. It's still way over what it was last August, but we're starting to come off of that crest a little bit. So again, we'll get to maybe some of why this is happening. Let's look at the inventory and start to look at demand. Days on market is down to 11 days from list to contract. That is down 75% from 44 days on market we saw last year. Realistically, it's hard to get much lower than this unless the older inventory starts moving a lot faster. The stuff that's coming on the market and it's priced right, it's going real fast. The month supply, we're down to 2 months. That's off 2/3 from the closest 5.8 months from last year. That's just telling me that the demand is still very high for what's going on. And then we look at supply. Supply is down 54%. We had 457 active listings last year and only 211 active listings for August of this year. And that's always fine and good as long as there are new listings to help offset that. And new listings, they're up, but only by about 15%. So 1164 in new listings last year, 1334 in new listings this year. We'd love to see where the percentage of new listings coming on offsets the percentage drop of active listings going, being right there. So we're not seeing that right now. We're not seeing as much inventory come into the market. Looking again toward the value of things, the sales to list price ratio is now at 99.3% across all segments of the market. That's up 1.7 from the 97.6% we saw last year. That again goes back to over asking price offers, multiple offers happening. It's, sellers, when they're priced right, are getting what they're looking for more and more often, and sometimes even more of that. And to get what you want, as far as space is concerned, you're paying more for it. Last year, it was $349 a square foot. That was our median number for sales. It is now up to $426, and that's 22% over what it was last year. This is probably one of the more consistent categories to determine the health of the market. Now, let's look at price reductions. What's happening right there? Those are down, but only by a little bit. Down 9% from 68 last year to 62. However, and this is the key right here, this is up from the 55 we saw in July, the 44 we saw in June, and the 13 we saw in May. So we're starting to see a pattern happening with price reductions. Those places that are up, that are trying to really test the top of the market are getting a lot of pushback on that. So it's good to see, because we want to see fair prices out there, market prices happening. And then the last one we're trying to get to here are the pending listings. Those pending listings are up 23% from last year. It was 1,077 pendings last year. Now it's 1,324. Again, up from last year. However, this is the third month in a row where we've seen it drop from month to month to month. It's a, about 5.4% drop in pending listings from July. All this is telling me is that, going back to those new listings, there's not nearly as many new listings on the market than what we need. So fewer pendings, fewer sales from the month before. And we'll start to break this down into the price and type and area segments coming up. In the meantime, if you want to give me a call to go over this a little bit more, my number is 970-846-0797, or email me at johnjames@jamesteamsteamboat.com. Took a little bit longer on this one, but I think it's pretty important that you guys get a good idea of what's happening, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.